evening, everybody. That's really exciting, isn't it? For the press conference. Let's tone it down a notch.
Woo!
Well, folks, here we are. Heritage Traditional Press Conference. Long time coming. As we know, it's been 3 years since the Heritage Traditional has been ran. Here we are, a media crew for the night. You all know me, Daryl Bradley. We've got Stacey Sanderson-Weber back in the mix.
Hello.
JB Rainsberger, the 260 bowler. JB, thanks for joining us.
Welcome, glad to be here.
And Greg Gigliak back in the media panel and the commentary on the asking questions. Greg, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, quickly from you guys, Stacey, JB, Greg, what's your thoughts? Thanks for being here with us. Stacey, you first on the initial thoughts on the Heritage Traditional press conference for tonight. You excited about this? Interviewing some star-studded lineup, don't we?
Well, yeah, there's a few really good friends on this one, and it's always interesting. I like doing these. We all have our own questions, and we like to maybe ask our own stuff, and then have somebody repeat it or ask before you. But it's a good group. It's a lot of fun doing the press conferences.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to getting to talk to some people that I haven't seen on this before. There's, I guess, a little bit of a risk that it might end up being a little bit too much the same people. And I think we have a nice mix of some returning guests from previous press conferences and some new folks we haven't had a chance to talk to yet. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we definitely have some characters in the lineup, so it should be no shortage of things to talk about for sure.
Yeah. It's nice, like you said, JB, to get a mix of different people, and obviously conscious of who's been on press conferences before and had a chance, and obviously bringing some of the past champions, whether they're from years past or even the most recent champion. Obviously bringing in the organizing committee, people who put this tournament together, and I'm sure they're just itching to get on. It's been 3 years since we've ran this, so it's exciting for a lot of people to be back playing in Red Deer and Heritage, back on the tour. That's unfortunate, obviously COVID related the last couple of years, but yeah, exciting to be back. So I think without further ado, let's bring in our first guest. It's none other than the famous Mike Tweedy.
Infamous.
Mike, welcome.
You got that wrong.
Oh, yeah, you're not famous?
Infamous. Different.
Infamous. Wow. I think you're also famous, buddy.
Derogatory as well, but that's all right.
Yeah. I think first off, Mike, I just want to ask you, obviously, thanks for coming on and being part of this. You've obviously been part of the organizing committee of the Heritage for a number of years. Big fan, obviously, organizing this and getting it off going. So just maybe chat about what it means. We're away and about to run this tournament after a couple of years hiatus.
Oddly, we haven't really taken a break from running it because we've organized it every year and we've had setbacks and changed dates. And honestly, 2 years ago, when the first year we kind of had to cancel it, we'd organized it for almost 3 full-on dates that we were going to try to make a go of it, and it never happened. But it's been a while, and it'll be good to get back to it for sure. We're looking forward. The field looks, packed. Everybody's hungry to get back to it, to playing, and you can see that in Regina. And here, I think it's going to be one of the biggest tournaments we've ever seen until Nebs in August, which looks like it's also going to be another massive event. And we're excited about it. Like always, it's a great event. Has been for a long time.
So, Mike, what kind of conditions can the bowlers expect out there, generally speaking? Is there something in particular that you've tried to do for them, or is it going to kind of be business as usual? What can they expect? I
think we always try to. The weeks leading up to these events, whether it's the Open, if we're hosting it, or this tournament, everybody's trying to. We try to get the pinfall as clean as possible, and not we're not trying to change up too much stuff. In past years, we've always been a bit what I would consider pretty oily, just because of the way that the lanes were dressed at those points. I think they've changed the process. Shelby has a little bit to a little more, hand doing the lanes instead of machine grooming them, and so they're a little less oil this year. I've noticed that in the league, and but they tend to start off a little oily, and by Sunday they're dry and scoring really well. So we'll see if it's that way this year or not.
Mike, can you let us know and let everybody know where you guys are going to be posting the stats for this tournament this weekend?
We've got our website back up and running. We had it dropped off the planet. We actually lost a ton of data, which is unfortunate. Just whoever was hosting it before it kind of went under. I think they're one of the, not the servers, Mark, who had built the site, but it had been hosted externally. And so it's back at heritagetraditional.com, and it's everything's there. It's Mark who actually did an emergency rebuild, so we've got that there, and we'll have some of the stats. We're hoping to regain some of the older stats and repost them as well, because we've used to past years we've had the play downs and the qualifiers and all that. So it's that'll be a project probably for after the tournament, unless we get some free time. And I know Pat O'Callahan probably has a bunch of those kicking around, so we'll peel his computer off and see what's at the lanes anyway.
Awesome.
So the traditional is kind of a different format than the other events that we have in the tour. Can you kind of go through how the format is for this for the event?
Sure, it's a takeoff of the plus 50 that's been around for 70 or 80 years, and similar to Calgary, except we change it and go into brackets. Instead of having just a straight qualifying on the Sunday morning, it's 4 brackets of the top 32 that play each other round robin, plus 50 for wins, and then straight pinfall. Top 4 advance to the second round and the semifinal or a quarterfinal bracket, I guess, and then there's four sets of those. First 3 are you play the other 7 people. The last one is a bracket of 4 that decides the champion. And it's always you got to have a good day. There's no easy path to the finals of this tournament, and even a bad few games could cost you anywhere down the way.
Well, the bracket at the end, so the 4 games, you get down to 4 players, and then they play a round robin against each other, and then it's just the total. Whoever has the highest net pinfall wins.
I think there's a 1-game match to decide the champion, and
so 1 and 2, and then
that's it. So just to make it all for and memory serves me, we flattened the money a bit for the top 2 spots to let's play 1 game for the title, because the title means more than the money, probably. Not for all of us, but it's an important thing for sure.
And then how about the doubles shootout? So that gets everything started tomorrow night. Well, obviously you've got a qualifying shift in the afternoon, starting 2 o'clock or noon, I think you said. And then you've got the one in the middle, split the middle. And then you've got the doubles. Let's chat a bit about the doubles event that you've got going on tomorrow night.
Similar format. It takes doubles is the original shootout was, I think we started in 2016. And played it for 3 or 4 years as a singles tournament, and then there's lots of interest in the doubles, even back then. But it takes the pinfall out of it, makes the matches everything. It's more like the Open, where you win or lose, right? And you win with a 2-10 or a 3-10, it doesn't really make a difference, and until we get to the tiebreakers. So that there's a point for each match and a point for the total of the double versus the one team you're playing. 2 brackets of 10 this year. Which is double, expanded quite a bit from the last time we hosted. It was one block of 10, and everybody played each other once. So 9 games that way. Top 3 in each go on, play each other to decide the champion, and the payouts in the top 6. You got to make the cut after the 9 games to break even, I think, and then you make a bit of money after that.
So top 6 out of 20 teams make it into the next round. Is that right?
That's right. Top 3 in each bracket. So there's two sides. Just we'd be great to be. Well, I think Daryl, I think you were part of the traditional first shootout. And it was 15 games that night, and then it was a lot. Like it was a long day, and we don't want to wear people out before the real tournament starts or the normal tournament starts. But it's a good feed in, and it's pretty exciting. Lots of great matches last night. It's in this, you look at the field, it's bound to happen. A lot of good players in there.
Nice.
So as you said, Mike, it's on one hand it's been a 3-year layoff, but on the other hand, it has kind of felt like it's all around the corner every time, every few months until it finally happens. Is there as an organizer, not just of the tournament, but also as sort of gathering the troops who are really making everything happen for the tournament? Is there what are you most looking forward to seeing during this event, whether it's how your crew works behind the scenes, something that you're looking for happening on the lanes. What is it that after 3 years you're looking forward to most about this event?
I mean, honestly, all of it. We've always had a great group of volunteers. This year, honestly, Cindy Seafried stepped up so much because I haven't had the time, and my work life and personal life are super busy. So she's just taken over that, making sure the entries, the shifts are put there, done a phenomenal job. And it's and then if it wasn't for people that, it's always kind of happened that way for us. And I mean, Greg's actually on the original organized committee still. I think he's still listed there somewhere, but I would never see him at the meetings because he's golfing.
I'd skip the meetings too if I could.
Yeah, me too. But no, we've had people fall in line, and there's always a group around Heritage that want to clamor and volunteer and be involved a little bit, and it's been awesome. And like I said, Cindy's taken over. It's been a godsend this year because I don't think it happens as smoothly as it will, or hopefully will, without her for sure. So I'm really, really appreciative of how much she's done, and just you fill the inbox with notes of everybody. You get everybody's requests, and I've done that in the past. It's a lot. I was more forceful and said email me or shut up because otherwise you have to respond to every single minute of the day. But yes. No, she's been great. So and just having the place be appreciated. We get so many compliments of the kitchen staff are phenomenal, and we've always had that. I think is a showstopper for some folks that don't see bowling alleys like this, and it's the food's good, and then beyond that, just the competition, just seeing the level of competition we always get, it's great. It's always exciting. I'm not at that level anymore. I don't think I haven't been playing that way, but I'll still throw a shift and be terrible for a little bit. I'm okay with that.
Well, you just about answered the question I was going to ask you, but then you stopped yourself, Mike. But I was going to lead into I don't know if a lot of people out there know how well Heritage has the kitchen and the food menu. So that's all ready this weekend. Is there any specials, or are you doing anything different this weekend?
I'm sure we will. We're actually going to do I've been working on it this week to promote one of our colleagues down in the southern part of the province. And I'm going to forget their name because that's excellent of me. The Deerings, gave us some briskets. They're going to sponsor for High Lady each shift, and we're going to kind of promote them a little bit by putting together a brisket Sammy kind of meal, and then get some of the money going back to them, which is they've like everybody fought their way through the last couple of years. Just as part of the world, I guess, but and Carol will be up here as well, I'm sure. So she signed up for a shift anyway.
Yeah.
So what are your numbers looking like as far as entries go, Mike?
I think there was 380 shifts or so, and 185 players. We've had a few drop out this week, so I think it's down to probably 170 some players, and I think almost coast to coast as well. Like, we've got people from everywhere, which is always exciting to see because there's such great talent from everywhere. And Cindy would actually be better answer. She's right on top of that, filling the list. Peripherally pay attention to it.
But what's your prognosis for the cut?
Well, we're no cheater bases, no close pins. It'll be where it's going to be. 21, probably 21-30, because given the depth of the field. But our pinfall has always been tough, and if it gets too easy, we start throwing sand in the micro switches to make sure the strings aren't pulling out so easily, because we don't want to see those 2250s. It's it takes away hope from the average folks, including me.
So Mike, you're starting off at the 21-30.
Yeah, I'd say 21-35. I think it was, what was the last one was right in that range, 21-20 something. I was just actually thinking about that the other day, and somebody asked me, and I really didn't know, because the website's gone and I can't just look it up. But,
well, and with the numbers that are coming into the tournament, right?
Yeah, I think the pinfall is the pinfall. It's, you got to beat the house, and it's just one of those things. You go where you get that free strike a game, with the skinny bases or some of those advantages, but like what I've seen the pinfall be pretty good here. It's never free. There's no shot that dominates. I've always liked it because you can have somebody throwing the ball fairly slow and bowl fairly well as well. It doesn't seem to advantage anybody. And we've seen guys that are throwing, 50. Kreitzy throws well there, and Gary Baird, and we get people throwing slower too that score. And that's my favorite part. I think that the bases have helped. I think they offset some of the balls with what they do to the rubbers, but I think it also increase the ball speed, and you get a free strike a game, or one corner that drops over that shouldn't, or wouldn't, and it won't with us. And I don't think we'll never change the bases. They're going to be what they are. We got to go earn your pinfall.
You mentioned guys like Kreitz and Gary Baird, but is there anybody else, younger or local players that might be looking to play big, and some names you might look to see on the board?
Yeah, it's always hard to say. There's such a good group, and I mean locally we always, Red Deer's been hurt by that for a long time. As we had a lot of young players that come up and they end up going to university and dropping into one of the cities, and they're not here so much. But I think you can watch the Tigard boys. They'll be tight, tough to beat. They're always are. They throw great. And local, I mean, Shelby's the kid to watch from here. He's not a kid anymore, but he plays well here, and the format suits him. He's a grinder. He will be there every single ball for the whole day, and that's what it really takes. You can't just get hot for a little bit, and there's no walkover matches where the odd time with the best three pinfall. Sometimes you get an easy couple matches that takes the stress off, and the format here just doesn't exist. There's not a bracket that's weak. Even if it is, you still got to fight your way through them, and with the depth of the field now, there won't be a weak bracket. It almost can't happen, given how many good players there are. So, but I'll be excited to watch a lot of the kids from here. I think Colton Yelza, I saw both of them in Calgary. I think he's going to be here, and he's an exciting young player to watch. He looks like he's from Winnipeg a little bit, I guess. But I'm excited to see lots of folks, and just excited to see them here. It's been such a while, and I haven't really got to play out. Didn't get to go to Regina, so I didn't get to see those folks there. I'm looking forward to just having people around competing, right?
Well, that's awesome. I think everybody's looking forward to coming and seeing you and the Heritage Lanes and all the staff that are going to be there. Shelby, Andre, the whole crew. And if you're there, obviously say thank you to the organizing committee, Cindy, the chefs, the volunteers, the pin chasers, everybody. Excited to be in the building, and we'll start getting things underway tomorrow. So thanks for your time here tonight, Mike.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you
tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey.
All right, we'll let Mike. And there it was, the quick transition, Carrie? There you go. Crisis in the background. I like it. Next up, let's go to a previous Heritage Traditional champion. Technology challenged, but he's in the game. Game faces on. Mr. Kevin Holdsworth.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, looks like where are you outside of? You're outside of a bowling alley, getting the early reps in.
Yeah, a little neighborhood pub. It was a little
Nice.
noisy inside, so I came outside.
Okay.
Nice.
So, Kevin, what as a recent champion, although it maybe feels a bit strange to say recent given that it was 4 years ago, is there something in particular that you remember from your victory that you can sort of bring with you coming into this event?
I don't know. That's a tough one. And actually, I'm still defending champion because I didn't get to defend because I broke my foot. So I still feel like
All right, then. Sorry. As a 4-year reigning champion, is there something that you can bring with you?
just maybe the experience and the mentalness. It's quite a grind out there. So I think the experience. It's been a long time though since I've played, so we'll see what happens. Lots of rust.
Hey,
Kevin,
Kev.
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Stacey.
Oh, so first, my first question was, I was really just wondering if you had a very specific coach this year that impacted your game to make it better. But I think you only had one coach, so it's okay. You don't have to tell everybody her name. It's fine. But I want to congratulate you on the green and gold with Parker, and that's a really good lead up to coming into the Heritage. So, what did you take from that to that just keeping you on that same level?
I think just we played well, so I kind of found a few things, and hopefully I've worked out a few kinks, and I feel a lot more confident than I did even a few weeks ago. So hopefully I can bring that to Red Deer.
Kevin, I know I've bowled with you over the years in the Masters and so forth, and you always seem to have played well at Heritage. You think that's you just have some extra confidence going into that center?
I think so, absolutely. Just over the previous years, bowling Masters there, and it's just kind of like a second home there. I feel comfortable. People are there. Shelby, you're always welcome, and I just feel so comfortable there, and good vibes, and things always happen good.
Yeah.
Kev, is there a little bit of advice you can give once you make the cut and you're now playing in the play downs and the groups? The mentality that it takes to play 7 games or getting the bonus 50 points. It's different than the traditional 3 games match play or what that looks like. So, any insights, tips, and advice on how to manage that?
Carol, you're kind of breaking up there.
That's right. Currently, my internet's not good tonight. Apologize there. But I'm wondering if there's any advice on the first round, how to get through that. Playing the bonus 50 versus the traditional 3-game match.
I think I got a little bit what you said. You're still breaking up. It's pretty hard to. You're kind of mumbled in there, but something about the point system. How?
I think he was asking you, Kev, like how you come through that first cut, right, and playing those games. Like, what's your experience? What would you explain? How would you explain it to somebody?
Well, it's tough. Because it's not traditional match play that first round. You really have to watch what you're doing and your pace of play. It's every point counts. That 50 points is huge. You might not score too well, but that extra 50 always helps. And on the flip side, you try and get as much as you can, because even if you lose with a 300, at least you're getting your maximum points.
And so, is that something that sort of sticks in your mind? I mean, do you really feel the difference between this format and the typical match play format? Because some people, if they think that a match is gone, they might take 2 or 3 frames to work on things to get ready for their next match. But with this format, you really can't afford to do that. Is that something that is really present in your mind while you're going through it?
A little bit. I'm more comfortable in the 3-game match play. I kind of feel like over 3 games I can beat you. One game, anything can happen. You could be done after 2-3 frames. If you're still trying to find it. But on the at least if you lose, you're not out. So you still have another opportunity the next game. So it's not like hey, you lose again, you're out. You still have, other opportunities to play well. So you're always kind of working on it, and hopefully, you can find it for the next game if you don't have it that game.
Did you happen to go to Heritage, Kev, or what do you think the scoring's going to be like there?
I don't know. I was talking to Robert about this today. I said I have no idea what it's going to be, because over the years there's been like a 50 pin difference, and you got so many quality players coming, and I don't know how the pinfall is there right now, so who knows? Typically it's around 2,100. So will it reach higher? You never know. We'll find out by Friday, I guess.
I think right now, Shelby was the high average in the leagues at right around 268. And I think Gary Baird was in that 260 mark. So there's, and I think Justin Langrock was in that 260 as well. So if you compare that, and again, I've always thought that Heritage is, you have to throw the ball well to score there. You're going to have to pick some corner pins. You're going to have to, shoot some chops and that type of thing. And again, you, Kevin, feeling comfortable there, is that something that you feel plays into your game, the ability to pick your wood and get your spares and that type of thing?
I think so. I always preach, you got to spare to score. And if you're not going to spare, it's, even if you throw the strike the next frame, you don't spare it, you're not counting. So, and it keeps your game going, and, and eventually you hope you get the strikes, but, and I don't think they have the cheater pins there, correct?
No, they don't.
It's kind of more truer pinfall, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's always been good pinfall. You throw well, you score well. You don't, you get punished.
Yeah.
Last two quick questions for you, Kev. We have to put you on the spot about what you think the cut number is going to be. So give a number there for us.
2157.
2157. Ooh,
yeah.
Going high. Okay. And next question is, how excited are you for your Bakers team?
Absolutely. I went shirt shopping today. You almost had a new shirt.
Oh, okay. Well, you had a teammate not making it, so I quickly scooped up the spot to play with Kevin Holdsworth.
I'll absolutely enjoy playing with you.
Yeah, looking for it. Well, Kev, thanks for coming on. Obviously, look forward to seeing there the reigning champion.
Co-reigning.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Thanks, Kev. We'll let you go, and we'll see you down there tomorrow.
Okay, absolutely.
Hey,
thanks,
Kev.
Bye.
Yeah, Kevin.
All right. Okay, so next up, happy to introduce a former or previous WCBT Tour champion, all-around good guy, fantastic interview. Here we go with Greg DeGrazia. Hey. Greg, welcome to the show. I believe, Stacy, you got first.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Stacy.
Are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No. Are you in Red Deer already?
Oh, yeah, I'm in Red Deer. Yeah, I just got in a couple hours ago.
Did you go and throw today?
No, did not go through.
Well, now you don't answer my question.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that Heritage treats you very well, and you've done really well there over the past couple of years, right? Like to a runner-up and top fours, right? Mm-hmm. So what are you looking forward to most being back?
Yeah, I generally play pretty well here, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I don't have to quad shift it like I did in Regina. Yeah, just Red Deer's always been my favorite tournament. I love the center. Obviously I do well there. The scoring's definitely gotten tougher since when I first started coming, but I still tend to do pretty well. Yeah, I'm just excited to be back at this tournament. It's been 3 years, so really looking forward to it.
How have you been playing up until this event here, Greg, at home?
And pretty well, actually. Like, we had the open provincials last month, and I was fortunate enough to win singles, and my team made it, and I averaged 280 in a house that I was really struggling in, but I happened to be able to show up that week, which I was pretty pumped about. Yeah, just in the last month, I've been pretty on my game. So I'm hoping that it continues on through this week and weekend. So
Excellent. Congratulations. I didn't know that. Fantastic.
thanks.
Yeah, I think there's a few of you across the country that are playing double at open provincials that can play singles and team. So it's a cool feat for sure.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, great question for you. The tour points. You know, you're 12th place right now. Does that weigh into your thought process as far as coming here to Heritage and as far as I need to sort of maybe finish a top 8 to secure my spot? You know, I guess the question, does it weigh into your thoughts as far as what's on the line down the road for the Tour Championship?
Well, I was coming here regardless. Like I planned to come here well before like Regina happened. Yeah, being 12th, obviously I need a decent finish. Like my highest point total I think is 80, so I need to come. I'm not sure exactly where I need to come, but at least make it through the first 2 rounds, I think. So I'm just going to focus on like doing well in the event, and then, you know, hopefully do well enough to get enough points, but that's not really going to be on the top of my mind. It'll probably be like an afterthought once the tournament is over.
Okay, cool.
So, Greg, you mentioned needing to 4-shift in Regina, and you know, I shit happens. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what did that leave you with anything in particular that you thought you might need to work on or need to do differently, sort of as you get back home and start thinking about getting ready for this event, or was it just sort of take a break and business as usual?
Yeah, so it was kind of like unfortunate circumstances leading up to that tournament. Not that I want to make excuses, but Ontario was in a shutdown for 4 weeks, about like a week before I went to Timmins. And then of course I went there and played like 100 games, and my finger was just not doing too hot. Yeah, like the first 3 shifts were just like a grind. And then, you know, it was funny, Saturday morning, I was like really kind of defeated. I remember having my hand on the hotel door at like 8:30 in the morning, thinking like, am I going to go play a 4 shift? Am I not? And thank God I went, because I went and shot like 24:30 or whatever I shot. And I mean, that made me feel good, because, you know, I was pretty like kind of feeling pretty defeated, having to, you know, bowl so much and not get the results. But yeah, it just shows that like, even if you struggle, the next tomorrow's a whole new day. And, you know, I feel like if I have 5 shifts to play, and I will play all 5 if I have to, odds are like I'm hopefully going to make it. So
that made it easier for you to walk out of there and just kind of say, you know, that was an outlier. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually not the first time I've quad shifted it and made it on the 4 shifts. So
yeah, I guess once you do it once, it's easy to do it again, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy, but at least I know it's like doable.
I didn't realize how close you were like with Rich. Like if Rich is having a game where he's struggling, he's not throwing strikes, he thinks in his head mathematically, like the odds are I should get a strike. So you're thinking the same way, like, okay, 4 shifts, I should make it in this one. So it's not a bad mindset, right? Like, but
yeah, like I'm kind of like a math guy. I like to play the odds, and like I go back and think of all the tournaments I've ever bowled in since, you know, I was 13 coming out to these tournaments, and I think I've only missed like 3 cuts. And, you know, so like the odds are in my favor to make it. So I'm just going to keep playing, and hopefully, you know, this isn't going to be my fourth tournament that I don't make the cut. So,
well, that's a good mindset. So how many tournaments throughout the year do you think you play? Because I think that every WCBT event you're at, and you're always at the club tour events, and you're always doing all this stuff, like your schedule's pretty busy.
Yeah, it depends. This year, I actually had a lot more free time. So I play, obviously I went to all the WCBT events. I went to Winnipeg. I don't play Masters just because I'm not a big fan of the way it's done in Northern Ontario, just how geographically spread out we are. So it makes it kind of difficult. There was no club tours this year, so I kind of was able to focus mostly on WCBT, which was nice. And then obviously I did the 5P Universe Pro League. I didn't do too hot there, but yeah, I got quite a bit of games in this year. So hopefully next year I'll be able to do the same thing, but we'll see.
It interests me, your mindset coming into these events is I'm going there to qualify. And so every time you start a shift, you're focused, I'm going to play as well as I can to get to my goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't second guess yourself. You're always staying positive, and if it doesn't work out this time, I'm going to try and do better next time. But I think that says a lot for you and where you're at with your game and how comfortable you are. But I'm not sure that a lot of people can commit like that. So, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's just if I have a bad shift, I just try to reset and not think about it and just say, it's a new shift. Like I'm not going to dwell on the past shift because I mean, if you put that added pressure on yourself, knowing that you didn't do well and you think that's going to carry over to the next shift, it's going to be that much harder. So I just try to limit the amount of pressure I put on myself or, think too hard about it.
Do you do many adjustments as far as throwing different balls, changing your balls around? You change, I hear some of these guys out here now are changing steps. They go from a 4-step to a 3-step and, that type of thing. Do you do much of that?
So I pretty much never change my bowling balls. This tournament, I only brought 2 and, I think I have 2 other bowling balls that I've maybe used 3 times in the last 5 years. I keep it pretty consistent. So, and I'm a field bowler, so I don't like my adjustments are kind of like I either move, if I'm punching a lot, I'll move forward a little bit or move back a little bit or just kind of move a little bit and kind of move around just to see if I can get off of it. Yeah, I don't make too many huge adjustments. So I don't have to overthink like, oh, should I use this ball or that ball or am I going to do this line or that line? I just think I keep it pretty simple, and I know, yeah, it works for me. So
it obviously works very well for you.
Yeah.
Greg, can you chat quickly about the circle that you surround yourself around when it comes to these tournaments? I see you playing, a guy like Mitch. You play with him in the doubles tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Is there other guys that maybe you're leaning on a little bit that you're traveling with, or maybe that are local or from here that are, lack of a better word, same caliber as you? Do you gain information and strategies from each of those people, or what does that look like for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like me and Mitch definitely lean a lot on each other. Like, we room together a lot, and like a lot of times, like we'll stay up for like a couple hours talking about like the game and everything, like our shots, and if we noticed each other doing something like wrong. So that kind of helps. Like I think us always like hanging out and kind of feeding off each other, and pumping each other up and talking about like what went well, what went wrong. It's like definitely helpful. Taylor Michelle, like when he comes to these tournaments too, like I bowl with him all the time. So it's nice to have someone that's around all the time that, might also be able to notice something that I'm doing, or maybe I'll notice something that he's doing. So yeah. And obviously like I'm friends with like a lot of people from here, from Alberta, but I'm not around them as much. So it's easier to, surround myself with Taylor and Mitch, who, I see a lot more.
Right. Gotcha. And of course, we won't let you go without giving us a good old number for the cut. You knew that was coming. So where are we looking, Greg?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, I haven't bowled at Heritage in a few years, so I don't know how tough the scoring is or what it's like. But I'm thinking around 2140, maybe, depending. So,
as we're all madly scribbling down what everybody's thinking. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Greg DeGrazia says 2140, so that's a 270 average. Am I right there? 2160 is 270.
Close.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, close. Gee, math guy. Yeah. Well, Greg, thanks for joining us. Obviously, appreciate your time. Enjoy Red Deer tonight, and we'll get the best of luck in the shift you're starting off tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you this weekend.
Yeah.
You bet.
Look great.
Very well.
Right on.
Hey, Greg.
Bye.
All right, I was just getting into that music. That was, Next up, fine gentleman from our neighboring Saskatchewan. Some would say he came out of nowhere at the Regina Classic, but that's not true. We've all known this guy for a long time, loved him for a long time, but had an absolutely fantastic tournament in Regina. None other than John Mones.
Hey guys.
Hey, John.
John, welcome.
How's it?
What's going on? How are you?
Oh, just living the dream over here,
Nice. Greg, I think you're up first.
Yeah. And John, have you played in this at the Heritage in the past?
Yeah, just one time. I think it was maybe the second year before the COVID stuff happened.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
4 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. So what do you think of the format?
I like it. I really like it. I like it's the one you get bonus points, right? You play in your groups.
Yeah, playing your
I
bracket.
never actually made the cut, but I think it's the one you go group of 5 or whatever it is. You get your bonus
Group
points.
of 8. Yeah.
Group of 8.
Group of 8 round robin against each one. Yeah. Top 4 out of each
one. I really
one.
like that. It rewards you for doing well.
Yeah.
You play your match and you get your bonus points and you get rewarded for it. And I really like it.
Yeah. Good.
John, after an extremely successful Regina Classic, is there something that you learned even just about yourself that you're able to now compete at such a high level that you're going to be able to take into the next cash tournament that will help you be successful in the future?
Well, I think once you just get on a string of, let's say, headpins, you can climb your way out of that hole. I think against, let's go with Dwayne Gilardi. I think I threw about a 200 my first game. I was down by about 100 after game 1. Came back and I think I threw a 9-bagger for a 405. And all of a sudden I was tied up again. So you can't get too low and you just kind of roll with it.
So, John, has there been anything in particular that that you worked on or thought about leading up to this event? And did your experience in Regina sort of change that, maybe cause you to think of something new, something different? Or was there something that you used to worry about you got to let go of?
Yeah, I've usually had a little bit of doubt in my game. I think as do most bowlers. Mm-hmm. But you learn to work through that kind of stuff. When I had COVID, I self-isolated, I think, for 11 days. You got a lot to think about in 11 days. You can work through a lot of your stuff. And I don't know, I think it just made me mentally stronger. Like I was okay being alone, It's okay to, I guess, you get COVID. People were judging people, you know how it is, right? Mm-hmm. I wasn't going out gallivanting or anything like that. I was following all the rules, but it's okay you got it. It is what it is. I think it made me mentally stronger in the end, which obviously showed in Regina. I battled through a lot of things. 30 out of 33 games there was incredible. I think I ran out of steam at the end. I had a chance to eat 1 egg salad sandwich in there in 11 hours. So I usually don't eat while I'm bowling because I feel like I just have to go to the washroom then, and I just don't like doing that while I'm bowling.
Well, apparently if you're going to eat while you're bowling, this is the place to do it. So you might as well take advantage of it while you're there.
Exactly.
Well, John, Rich took my sheet away. Okay. This because this what happens when I go last. You guys all ask the questions that I have written down here. And I know if it gets past JB, I know for sure Daryl's going to ask the same question. And it happened. Both of you did it. So this is a question that Rich just wrote down. Just let me make sure it's okay for me to say out loud.
I wouldn't trust.
7-second delay. It's okay. Don't worry.
Okay. You have lots of energy and excitement when you're bowling good. Is it hard to keep that adrenaline going for the entire tournament?
Absolutely. That's one thing I've tried to calm down. Once you get that adrenaline going, I feel like it's tough to calm yourself down for your next shot. Like in 10, I would say, on your second ball in 10, you throw a big one, I guess, against Tyler Titcat. I needed to bang out to shut him out by, I think it was 5 points. So after my first one, I was pretty jacked up. I think I had to take 30, 35 seconds to be able to throw my second shot. And it is extremely difficult to do in my mind, to go from pumping yourself up as much as you can to trying to calm your heart rate down to be able to throw your same slow shot you've been throwing the same all day long. It is. Agreed. I think it's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
Are you a bowler that changes his equipment around as far as bowling balls and amount of steps or anything like that?
I would never change my steps. I'm a creature of habit. I would change my bowling balls, but usually not mid-shift. I might throw a different shift with them, practice.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
Vipers and soft rolls, and that's really all I threw. I threw Brad's soft rolls in Regina, actually, and he wanted them back after the tournament. No kidding. But yeah, I'm a creature of habit. I'll throw the same stuff. If I have trouble gripping the ball, I might go to soft rolls.
You pretty much stay with what you got and you just work in the rhythm of your bowling and your tempo and that to try and figure out to self-adjust yourself then?
Yeah, I'll work on my speed, or I'll go shift a couple boards over either way just to try to get a better angle on the head pin.
Right on.
It's funny you mentioned about managing highs and lows, and you got super excited and then have to bring yourself down and calm down and shoot the next shot. And that's something that I personally learned when I played you in Regina. I got way too excited playing my first ball, and then I had to go shoot the second ball, and then I threw a head pin. So something I learned is that I'll control that energy, let the energy release after the second shot, right? So just a little thing we learn along the way, but it's something you need to say managing that and lows. So my questions go along the same line I asked Greg, is the group of your fans. You got a great group of network in Regina that supported you so much. How do you carry that into Heritage? You might not have a huge fan load.
Yeah, I had a great group of fans there. I had friends that had never watched bowling before in their lives. And the one lady, she wanted to come out for a drink and just watch me have one game. She ended up staying 11 and a half hours until the very end. And it's incredible. So I know they'll all be watching on live stream or whatever it is. So I know I got fans there, and I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Just go with the flow. Pretty much everyone, all of our bowlers we're all fans of each other anyways, so it is what it is.
Of course, we're not going to let you go without giving us a number.
You know what? I'm going to go 2182.
Ooh. They made fun of me when I guessed high last time. So
hey, I think everyone's going to be
high.
gunning. It's the first one in 4 years. I think everyone's going to be gunning out there, and it'll be a big field. So I think it'll be higher.
Thanks for setting the bar high there, John.
You betcha.
Some of these things, I'm just going to shoot them off with a really big number. There you go. Thanks for coming on. Glad to see you this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Good luck, John.
William, John.
And back at it. Hopefully we just did a little technical fix that my internet is better. Apologize for that. Hopefully it worked a bit better there. Anyways, next guest. Way better. There you go. Next guest. The fix worked. Good. Next guest. Let's bring in none other than Jennifer Baker.
Hi.
Jennifer. Welcome. So 2013 Heritage Champion. It's been a few years, but I'm assuming you can still draw from that experience as far as being a past champion and being able to wear that shirt and wear that title. That still means something. Do you get to draw something off of that for going into this year, Jen?
We didn't have shirts back then, Daryl.
Right, but you know what I mean. You get to wear that badge proudly as far
Yeah.
as having a title. You are a former title holder. It still means something for sure.
Yep, it still does. Even though it was almost 10 years ago, but it almost seemed like it was just yesterday. And I'm pretty sure Mitch would still say I'm just lucky because I'm a female.
I don't think he would say that. He better not say that, or else he should get a few kicks in the shin this week. Yeah.
I just had
Can
to get
anyone
the
reach
Mitch
that
Davies- Yeah, exactly. Just had to get the Mitch Davies dig in there.
Nice.
So Jen, on that note, not Mitch, but on you being 9 years removed from the last win in this event, sort of thinking back to that event where you won and thinking about the difference between Jen 9 years ago and Jen now, what would Jen now want to say to Jen 9 years ago to help her out?
Well, if we're talking from this year, Jen 9 years ago was way better than Jen was this year. It mostly just comes down to not giving up and having confidence in myself because I've basically lacked that from September. It's a work in progress, obviously, but I just remember a couple of those matches, especially like it was almost like they were talking earlier, the extra 50 is super, like it's good. So then you try, like, you're almost looking around to be like, hey, like I still need to shoot this type thing. But like you're not technically out of it because you can come back and throw a 350 and if you win, you got your 400 there. But I just remember some of the matches being like, oh, like I'm kind of half done here. And then it's just like, nope, I figured out something. Jen's back. So I remember that definitely coming up the brackets anyways.
So does that mean that Jen 9 years ago needs to be in the back of your head so that you have that little extra push to keep going?
Pretty much, yep. That's bang on. And I'll admit it.
Well, I don't know, Jen. Like, congratulations on your engagement. So I'm wondering, like, are we going to go from Jen Baker to Jen Schwartz? And what's Jen Schwartz going to be like, maybe?
We're definitely changing the last name.
So what are you doing? Like, what do you do this week to prepare for the traditional, or what do you do to prepare for like a major event, being a top female?
We did go throw balls the other night, and I know from past there you want to pick corner pins and chop offs. So that's basically what we tried to work on for like an hour and a half. Was both sides of the corners and the chop offs, because I know those will come and bite you in the butt eventually. But like you said, they were talking about that earlier. Every pin there counts. Like, you work for basically what you score there. Like I know I haven't obviously played there in 4 years, I guess. But back then, like I said, you still had to work for every pin that you got there.
Good.
Yeah,
So pretty much we just went practicing, and other than that, didn't really prepare otherwise. I'm terrible, I know.
as a bowler that bowls in the center, but hasn't changed at all. It's one of those houses. If you're playing well, you can score. If you're not playing well, you're exposed.
It'll eat you alive.
Absolutely. So you know that, and I think everyone coming into the event knows that and is going to come in with the expectation that I need to. Don't be surprised if I throw a mediocre ball and I don't get a strike, because that's what's going to happen there. So, yeah. But, I mean, Jen, I've watched you bowling since you came up practically, and you've always been someone that you just seem to just be able to get yourself in a groove, and you don't seem to let a bad ball affect you. Is it still the case now? Is it as you're, getting older, or, and I don't want to say it negatively at all, but I mean, do you think that it's hard to stay confident all the time. Are you having more?
Yeah, I'll say this year, like especially, I say I don't care. I'll admit it to everyone. That's been my downfall. Like it was no different than open singles. I was cruising along and I threw a $163 and I'm like, okay, like I'm done. But there was still like 4 games left or 3 games left. Like there was a 900 sitting there, but nope. Like, yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like I said, it'll come obviously, but it probably like COVID ruined everything. It kind of takes you out of practice of that, and it'll just be playing these events to get like you mentally back prepared type thing. So that's probably going to be my biggest, I don't say challenge this weekend, but definitely something I'm going to really focus on is just not giving up after even one frame of like, no, like you still have that many frames left. And really at the end of the day, I know I can dig down and get even some spares and strikes in there. Like, yeah. So that's probably my biggest thing is not to just throw pins away.
Does it help now with you and Sean both bowling a lot? Does it help you to get out more because Sean is so motivated to, working on his game?
I think so. Yeah, I must admit we work pretty good together. I help him with his stuff, and he tries to help me with mine. Sometimes, when people talk to you, like you're really listening, but it doesn't look like you're listening, but you really are. But yeah, it's definitely nice to have him in my life because I know he enjoys the sport and wants to get better. So it's not just me going out bowling, it's both of us wanting to. So that has certainly helped.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Sean, the next favorite for you to be able to support, but is there any, sticking along the female train, is there any other ladies that you know that are coming to maybe have an eye out that we should, keep a looking out for?
I'd say, like, obviously just seeing everything lately, I'd probably say Alyssa Campbell. Like, she's been bowling unreal this year. Look how far she went in Regina. And then she's both the Masters tournament lady singles and the open lady singles. So that's good on her type thing. But I'd say that's one to definitely watch. And then I noticed the other day, Kelsey Wilton's back in the mix. So she's always a pleasure to watch. So, and then I know Bev Magnus has been bowling well lately. Like there's I guess a list that I've kind of been noticing. So it's nice to see all these ladies coming out though.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to see them do well.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to get your number prediction here. Everybody will get their pencils out. Madly scribble this down. What's Jen Baker's number?
See, I've been kind of listening here, but you know what? I'm going to go like 2162.
There's your 270. Just over. All right, we're getting a mix. I want to start seeing these numbers come down. Just come on, can anybody throw like 2077? That's what I'm going to say. It's like it's not going to happen. But we're
if it's
Jen
that,
Baker's,
we'll come back on you, DB.
Yeah, I'm going to say 2077. Here you go. It's going to be a super low cut, everybody. Anyways,
calling it a leg, don't make it a leg.
Yeah. Jen Baker, thanks for joining us. Obviously, hopefully you can relive the old glory from 9 years ago, and we'll get you a shirt this time when you win, all right?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Jen.
This weekend.
Good luck, Jen.
Ben.
Thank you.
Back at it. Here we go. Now, I think that when you look at the star-studded lineup, this is probably the one that's glaring and showing up for everybody. Flashing lights. Number one commenter on all the YouTubes and all the 5PNU stuff. We got Mr. Uncle Leonard Anseth. Uncle Lenny's in the house. How you doing, Len?
I'm doing all right.
I love the interaction and the commenting that you always have on all of our shows. So I think it's a fantastic thing. Keep it up, bud.
Yeah, it shows I don't have much of a life, eh?
Not at
I
all.
thought-
We did see
thought
though
you
that
guys a little bit too close.
we did see a post though that you wanted in at the club tour at Nebs. Any shift and all shift. Put Len Anseth in. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna figure things out this weekend, but it's this weekend, but it sure sounds like that. Yeah, that there's at least one or two other people looking at going up from Saskatchewan that we can travel together. So I think, yeah, I think we're in.
Good chance.
Nice.
Yeah.
JB.
All right. Well, Len, first of all, I have to say it's nice to be able to hear you. Don't have the airplane going on in the background like last time. So that makes it nice to be able to hear your voice. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect this kind of thing to affect you much anymore with your experience. But is there any change of feeling in your game, in your mental game coming into this event, knowing that you had such a recent win and maybe a bit of an unexpected win at that?
Yeah.
Or is it really just business as usual for you?
I would, no, I'd like to say, oh, it's just business as usual, but no, it's definitely different. Like now I'll have expectations, like whether they're warranted or not, you have expectations. I literally had none the tournament before and, kind of struck lightning in a bottle. But now just because of that, I if I said I had no expectations, I'd be lying. So that just changes just how everything feels.
And have you had a chance to sort of feel comfortable with those expectations, or are they still weighing on you a bit?
Oh no, they're not weighing on me. Like all I'm worried about is I'm going to be coming into this weekend too confident, but they're not weighing on me at all. I guess I'm at the point where if I bowl really well this weekend, it's going to feel great. And if I don't, I'm going to sum it up to, yeah, that's what happens when you start expecting it instead of, going out there and earning it. So yeah, either way, I'm okay with it. So, but it's, yeah, I wouldn't think either one's a burden.
Hey, Lenny.
Hey,
I tried to find questions that we didn't ask you last time, like how you're feeling, how's your body feeling? Because last time you were like, I don't even know if I'll make it through 8 games. I didn't want to ask you those questions again, but so Rich and I were just taking a look at the Bakers teams and see that you're bowling with Akira. So is it the first time you're going to bowl together in a tournament? Because it must be really exciting for both of you.
we've played together in tournaments, so it won't be the first time, but it would definitely be the first time at this level, and with so yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, then how's the body? You're okay? You're going to make it 8 games?
Right now, yeah. I said right now it feels pretty good, but we'll see. I'm at a certain age, you're just one bad slide away from ending a weekend type of thing. So yeah,
From being an internet meme.
yeah. Exactly.
Well, you've shown us you can bowl pretty well on just one knee, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
So we've asked a few of the bowlers, and I know for a fact that you are one that you don't necessarily stick to one line or one set of balls and that type of stuff. How do you reason you making a change?
I almost don't want to answer this question because it's so stupid for me. Like I don't know what I'm doing out there. I'll be throwing the ball really good and just something will tell me change and I'll be like, okay, and I'll switch balls. I could be on a 3 or 4 bagger and I'll switch balls, and I've thrown a 360 and then put those balls away and never thrown them again the next game and be in the 7th frame and might be struggling and never ever think that. I don't know. I don't give a lot of thought into everything. I just go on feel. If I'm feeling good, I'll just keep doing something, and if I'm bowling good, and sometimes you're stubborn because it feels so good and there's no results, but it feels so good you just stick with it. Right. But other than that, I kind of just I go wherever the wind blows, So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's Len. Yeah.
Len, can you chat a bit about your experience at Heritage and maybe some of the successes or some of your feeling or some of the pre-thought process going in? I might going to use this ball or I might change to this or what's your experience past at Heritage going into this?
Yeah, it's been a tough bowling alley for me. Like I've played really, really well there and been on rolls where I'm like, geez, I've never felt better than this. But there's been years where I played there and I just you just feel like you're so close and you don't change anything because it just feels so close and but you never find it. You just never find it there sometimes, So yeah, it's a baffling house to me because when it's going good there, it's such an easy shot and it feels like a really big zone that you can shoot at. And that same house a year later, you just can't find it. And you feel that at that time, you feel like I can throw forever here. I'm never going to find a shot here. So.
So Len, if you kind of don't understand your process very well or don't think about it too closely, does that give you an advantage in a place like Heritage, which can be a challenging place? Do you have this? Are you sort of aware of how it's easier for you to just let it be as it is and watch a bunch of other people getting angry or getting frustrated and knowing that that's not going to bug you?
I don't know. Like I just, it's just not something I think about.
I think that's probably a yes then.
Yeah, I guess so. Just doesn't enter my thought at all.
Oh, how I wish I had that.
Do you?
Yeah, careful what you wish for.
Well, you're certainly on a roll right now, Len, and obviously Regina Classic champion. You and your partner Blake played very well at the Green and Gold as well, just a couple weeks ago, playing in different centers. So I'm sure you're going to have a successful weekend. What's your number? Where are we looking?
Well, we were watching the podcast earlier, and I was telling the Kira, I said, when Greg said 40, I said in my mind, I said I was going to say all along 42. So, yeah, I think it's 21:42. That's just nothing other than a hunch. Just that's what.
Right. Well, good stuff. They're all in that same ballpark. Not down to 2077. I got you.
No, not down that low.
Going to need to be a bit better than that, DB. Yeah. Well, Len, obviously, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. We expect some good things again from you this weekend, as I'm sure you expect good things from yourself. So best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Have fun, Len.
Yeah. Good luck, Len.
Okay, next up we have from the Calgary Open Mixed Team Champions, going to Nationals in Newfoundland, a recent Mystery Night winner down in Calgary. Big title one. We have Bev Magnus.
Hi guys.
Bev, you like that mystery
Hello.
night? I want to know all about these mystery nights that you just won the other day.
I hadn't played any up until I decided to go this week because I thought, well, Heritage is coming. So, yeah, wandered down. Didn't go into all of the side pots, and maybe I should have because I could have taken money off of Marcello. And, top qualifier, who knew? And then, ran the ladder. It felt pretty good.
Fun nights for sure.
Yeah.
Stacey, I believe you.
Well, I finally can say hi, my Stab.
Hi. Again.
We had spring league together last night. I was quizzing her on questions last night, but when I was putting my stuff together today. So, like, you've had a really good season so far with making the Masters Nationals, the Open Nationals. Clearly the mystery event, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting second in the female for the WCBT point stuff. So what do you think the difference has been this season? Like, I mean, you've even gone out to Timmins, right? So what's the difference for you been?
Playing. The more I play, the better it gets. The sharper your brain is, the more the body remembers, the better you get at handling the stresses of throwing that 8-game qualifier. I've always been a grinder and a digger anyway. So, I can look up at my score and go, oh, that's not looking so good, but I can still get 280 out of this, or, as Mike doesn't like my coined phrase in the 6th frame, ooh, 300 lives when you have 120. So, but yeah, no, it's about the grind. You just got to grind it out every frame, every ball.
We earlier we were talking with Jen Baker, and we were commenting that part of her game and that's helping her rebuild her game and her confidence in that is she's getting out because Sean, her fiance now, is taking up the game very seriously and encouraging her to get out more and that type of stuff. Are you finding that the same with Mike as well?
Oh, absolutely. Herbert wants me to play everything. I'm like, well, I don't know. He's like, come on, just go do it. And I put you in the side pot, and then I win a side pot, and I'm like, oh, I guess going in the side pots aren't so bad.
Yeah.
It's been a great positive experience, when your spouse really pushes you to go be better, to get back to being better.
Yeah. Encourages you to keep working at it and so forth, right?
Yeah. He'll average better than me, and it's garbage, but you did good, Bev. You averaged 265. You did all right. My 270 sucks.
Well, and you've got someone to share it with, right? You've got, when you're done for the night, and you can share the highs and lows, and you've got someone that you can really, exactly share what you did and what you didn't do.
It's true. It's very true.
And it's always it's generally mostly positive because is our significant. So it's all good. And I mean, I think that's a good thing, and we all need that, right?
We do. And even if your spouse doesn't quite understand the sport itself, just to have them support you anyway. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't matter if they bowl or they play hockey or they do their own thing. As long as you have the support of your partner, that's all that matters. They have to push you to be better. And if they don't, then you have to find it within yourself to go be better.
And Greg, you're a great one to talk about that, obviously, with your spouse and you guys being very competitive for many, many years, being able to lean on each other and to be able to get that support for each other. So, great question. Bev, my question for you would be the female player of the year. Obviously second right now in points. Is that something that you're looking at and having an internal tournament, internal competition with the other females as well to sort of see if that's a title you could take down this year? Is that a thought process at all for you?
It kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because I would rather support the girls ahead of me and see what happens with that than to be like, well, I'm going to take her down, or I'm going to do this, or like, I would rather see us supporting each other, like the guys support each other, than to be worried about taking each other down. Because how are you ever going to get us out playing if we all hate each other? It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. Like, you see the guys all fist pumping and stuff. The women should be fist pumping too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well done, Stacey. Yeah.
Nice.
So, Bev, you mentioned your propensity to to grind things out, to stay positive when the chips are down. We've heard from a few people already that Heritage can be a bit of a challenge. That you're not looking forward to a lot of free strikes. Does that play into your mindset at all? Do you walk in there feeling like, I have an advantage because that stuff's not going to bug me? or do you just completely put that out of your mind?
Well, I walk into a house every time like I've never been there before. But I know I play well at Heritage. Heritage has always been good to me. So there is that little piece of confidence in the back of my mind. But the conditions, you have to play to the conditions. They're not going to be the same this year as they were last year. So you got to figure it out. But I've always enjoyed playing there. I mean, I played well there in Masters. I shot 22.05 for my 8-game set, which I don't think I've done that in quite a while. So, I'm feeling good walking in there right now, but my body feels good. My mind feels good. I'm still living on a high of the Open and then my little mini tournament on Friday. You gotta feel good. You can't walk into a place and be like, oh my God, what am I doing? Danny Gumbuck said to me once, if you walk into a tournament and you don't think you're going to win it, then what the hell are you doing here?
It sounds like this tournament comes to you at kind of the right time. Do you feel that way?
I think so. I've always used Heritage as either my year end or that last big event before I'm off to Open Nationals, just that last bit of mental toughness to gain before I go play. I think I've played Heritage 6 times and I've made the cut 3 or 4. I never make it out of my first bracket, but I'd like to change that this year.
Well, I think you're bowling well enough right now, Steb, that you've got a lot to put out there, right? So you're feeling good. You look comfortable. I mean, you look really good at Spring League last night. The attitudes there. Watching at the Open was great. So if you were going to make one quick adjustment this weekend, if you had to, being a female, because a lot of guys make more adjustments than what we do a lot. What's your adjustment?
The only thing that I'll adjust is if my hands are too sweaty, then I'll change to my soft rolls. But other than that, I'm not really a tanker with stuff. I know my little idiosyncrasies, so I just go back to my little playbook of, okay, well, are you doing this? Are you doing that? And if I'm not doing those things, well, then I got to bear down and focus a little bit deeper to make those things happen. But yeah, the only thing I would change is probably my balls, knowing that I can hang on to them with a sweaty paw.
There was a whole lot to take in there, but let's just go with a cut line from you, Beth.
I'm gonna say 2166, but I'm gonna throw 2167 just to be sure.
Which somebody else said 2167. Greg said that, or somebody else said a high cut line.
Yeah, we've already had 2162. Yeah.
So is this the highest now? 2166?
Yeah.
John was 2182.
Yeah.
2182, right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, Bev, best of luck to you. Let's see if we can add another title to your trophy case this year. You're having a remarkable year, so wish you all the best and keeping it going.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Fist pumps.
Here's the camera.
Everybody's gonna be fist. I think it'll be like, wasn't it the Phil Mickelson that gave as many thumbs up? It became a thing, right? Thumbs up. So this weekend for Bev, it's just going to be the fist pump.
Yeah.
Fist pump Bev all over the place. Yeah. Nice. Okay, next up. I don't think we'll recognize this gentleman. Fresh off of a trip around the world. Probably learned a whole lot of new things, but happy to have him back. Safe in Canada, Mr. Tyler Titgath.
Hi, everyone.
Well, Tyler.
Tyler, first we got. How was the trip, man? We saw the pictures. We traveled along with you. What a remarkable experience for you to go on a trip like that, bud.
Yeah, it was awesome. I saw more days of sun in 7 days than I ever do in Edmonton in a whole summer, so that was great. And I did not sunburn, so that's the real win.
Nice. Greg, I believe you're up.
I am. So, Tyler, again, I mean, I think all of us are, you've had so much success at such an early age. How do you, have you got goals in mind, or do you just play every tournament as they come? Or, you know, tell me what a young man of your talent, how you think.
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, COVID threw a wrench into some plans, so I still have goals at the adult level. One of them I achieved this year with Master Singles. So I'm looking to do that at the national level now. I'd like that title. It'd be great. Same thing with the Open. I mean, I want our team to do well and succeed there. And then hopefully in a couple of years, maybe I can take the singles title as well in the Open realm. But in terms of cash tournaments, I mean, yeah, just take each one at a time. We all know how competitive they are and what level you need to perform at to succeed there. So day after day, if I want to be the best, I have to bowl my best. So I just go in feeling like that's the job ahead of me. Why not do it?
What do you do to prepare for an event?
Yeah, so typically, not right now, but typically I would watch bowling, all the stuff on YouTube. My favorite match of all time is Sandy versus Jeanette with all the strikes. It's like 400 to 380 or something. It's my favorite match to watch because it's just so good. I watch a lot of Tracy Smith bowling, incredible player. And then as well, some of the old TSN pins game, especially going up to the tour finals, just because it's the same format. So I find it a lot more helpful. Right. And then I would go bowling if I had the chance with school and work. And now this trip, I have not had the chance to do that, but I like Red Deer, so not too worried about the physical game at this point.
Tyler, well, big question. Have you watched the Pro League finals from last weekend? Is that part of your preparation for this week? Or are you just going to stay away from that? You did watch that, did you? Okay.
I did. When I got back to my hotel that night, I did throw it on my TV had YouTube in the hotel, so I actually put it on the TV and awesome. Watched. It was very exciting. I'm so proud of my team. An unfortunate finish, but you know what? We gave it our all, and a huge thanks to Julia Robko for filling in. I will take the blame on that one. So
we'll leave it at that. But you just mentioned, obviously, you've played well at Heritage. Chat about Heritage, what it is that makes you feel comfortable, maybe just a recent Masters block there, or what it is that specifically about Heritage that you really like.
Yeah, like everyone else says, you got to pick your spares. That's the part of my game that I feel most confident with, especially over other people. I feel like I am well suited at grinding through games where I've got 3 or 4 corners and a chop off, and I have to spare them all to get to that 270 mark. Especially compared to something like Bonnie Doon. I mean, I averaged 270 at the Open, which is nothing to sneeze at. I'm super proud of myself for it, but my team averaged 286. So I'm excited to play somewhere where I know 270 will be higher than most of the field because it's hard work instead of fun work. I mean, I'm not going to say that Bonnie Doon is easy because you still have to hit the middle, but it's a lot of strikes and it's a lot of fun to throw strikes. But I really love having to pick wood, making spares. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I would expect from you. That you sort of you see your mentality there as an advantage and as a strong suit. Is there anything in particular that you have been focusing on over the last couple of months as you've been preparing for all these big events?
Consistency, I think, is the big thing. I found a really nice groove, kind of between like TPC and our final Masters set, and I actually kind of lost it a little bit through the last few weeks. I just felt not as consistent. I mean, I'm still throwing well. I'm just not shooting 370 every week, which is a lot to ask, but it feels good when you do. So just going back to being consistent and making sure that the physical execution in each shot is 100% all the time instead of 92% every time.
All right, Ty, so I see that you're all refreshed after your wonderful trip. We had to point out on the map where you were. I showed the guys, the day before we started. But, so now you're refreshed. You didn't get to do the same routines that you normally do. Does that play into you going into this weekend? Like, are you thinking, darn, I wish I would have done some of the stuff? Probably not, because you were like on the other side of the world on a warm beach. But what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can acknowledge the fact that it's not my typical prep for a tournament, but I wouldn't have changed the situation for anything. I learned so much about myself and about the world being on the other side of it. I still got a whole day to figure it out. I mean, I work tomorrow at 2 o'clock, but I got the morning to get a haircut, watch some bowling. Probably won't throw anything, but you know what? If there's a will, there's a way, and I'm gonna do it.
Of course you are.
Are you at all superstitious?
Maybe a little stitious.
Yeah. Anything you want to elaborate on?
I'll give away my secrets, Greg.
Well,
I cut my nails. I cut my nails before bowling, so I will do that.
right.
I typically wear longer socks over shorter socks, but not always.
We're learning a lot here. This is awesome.
Maybe a fresh shave, something like that.
It's always interesting to see how people think prior to an event and what makes them think that way. So I think everybody's got their own little thing that they have, right? Or do or don't do, right?
So what does the weekend look for you, Ty? Are you playing doubles tomorrow night? When's your qualifying shift? Are you doing Bakers? What does the weekend look like for you going in?
I'm not bowling doubles tomorrow. I was asked a few times, and I am so thankful that people want to play with me. But with the trip, I do need to work tomorrow to make some kind of real money that is more guaranteed than a bowling tournament. So I won't be playing doubles, but I'm bowling Friday morning, and then I have Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon scheduled if I need it. And I will be playing Bakers as well. I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
So if you have a good event and you then, because you're at least a little stitious, does that mean that you're going to have to try to squeeze in a trip to the south of France before the next event?
Oh, as much as I would like to say yes, the answer will be no. I'm still living off the student budget. This was my last big spend.
And,
well, then we have to know, where's the cut going to be?
Yeah, you bet.
This will forever be my least favorite question.
Well, then you can just say 2077 to make Daryl happy.
Yes.
No, if I'm being real, 2168, nice and comfortable.
$1.
$1.
There's a whole lot of 2160s out there, everybody. You're gonna have to shoot 270 plus. Yeah.
Well, I think if you got 185 different players, you're shooting 1/3 of the field, and you get, there's a lot of, these higher qualifying. I mean, the Greg DeGrassi, who's completely willing to play 4 shifts if he has to, and that type of thing. Yourself already committing to 3 if you need them, and that type of thing. And again, you give the best bowlers in the country 3 chances. There's a good chance that they're gonna throw those numbers, and then you're always gonna have wild cards.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly part of the reason, Greg, why cuts are getting higher is because the multiple shift factor. People are coming in and they're ready to play. I mean, if you only limited it to 1 shift, it wouldn't be that high. But obviously, each shift, if you just keep re-entering, and keep going. But it's a good thing, in my opinion, to keep having more qualifying shifts. So
absolutely,
it's all good. Well, Ty, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We missed you last week on Pro League, and yes, we're going to keep teasing you about that. But happy that you're here, and we'll see you this weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Good luck this weekend.
Go get him.
Hi.
Bye.
Okay, and last up, we've got a nice segment here with our captain, champion, our commissioner, our president, man, all behind the scenes. He's even having a heck of a season on the WCBT to our current points leader, Kerry Trice.
Hey all.
Bring yourself to the fore.
Well said, Harry.
Yeah. What's going on, Mike? I think I'm up first. How are you doing? How's it going back there? Obviously, appreciate you setting this up press conference and getting everybody. Initial thoughts. How's it going, man? Doing a good job?
Yeah. As Daryl's internet is cracking up once again. Yeah, Daryl, no, the back end stuff. I enjoy doing this stuff. I may screw up here and there, so I hope I did a good job today. And the last two are all me, so I get to sit back and relax. I don't have to worry about it so much.
You can just let it go.
Yeah.
I'll do first quick question. Obviously, Terry, you are the points leader right now on tour. Huge accomplishment going into the last tournament. What sort of expectations are you going in with? You already know you're likely in the tour finals for sure, but is there sort of solidifying that rank, or what's expectations going into the last tournament?
Yeah, for sure. So just to clarify for people that maybe are watching that aren't fully aware of how the WCBT works and stuff like that, the top 12 players move on to the WCBT Tour Finals. I'm comfortably sitting in third with 202 points, I think, roughly. So I'm pretty much guaranteed to be top 12. But I am leading the total points race right now, I think by just under 1 point over Tyler, the previous participant here. So yeah, it's going to be a close race coming down to the end. That player of the year, you get a few extra bucks in your pocket before the tour finals and stuff like that. So it's something to shoot for. I'm not going to be thinking about too much once the weekend starts. It's more about the tournament itself. I love the Heritage Traditional. That's my number one goal this weekend, is just to play well, make the cut, and go on from there. So it does weigh on me going into the tournament, but once the tournament starts, I kind of put that away with everything else.
So, Carrie, you've been kind of the poster child for self-deprecating humor over the last few years, but suddenly now, in the past several months, the tour hasn't had you to kick around at all. And given your affinity for Heritage, is there anything that you can point to that has sort of helped you turn a corner that maybe even you carry into this event?
Yeah, that's a really great question. It was just more getting a mindset on getting back into the tournaments and not worrying so much about this stuff. I think that was kind of weighing pretty heavy on me, was making sure the streams were going well and to a product level that I was looking for. And they're still not at that level. There's still a lot of stuff I want to improve on, but I think when the tournaments have been starting, getting the equipment set up and then not worrying about it while I'm playing this shift as much as I used to, I guess I should say. I still try and make sure things are going good, but I don't check it after every frame. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. I sit down, I sit in the pit, I worry about my game, and then after that game's over, then maybe I'll go check, see how stuff is doing or stuff like that. I think it was just more mentally staying in the zone, if you want to use for a lack of a better term.
Yeah, because I can imagine that it could either be a question of I'm just less worried about that stuff, so it's easier on me, or I'm less worried about that stuff, so I can be here focusing on my own game and be more aware of what I'm doing. Which one of those feels more like what's been happening for you?
It's definitely the second one. I've definitely had more help with the equipment and stuff, so that definitely takes a weight off my shoulders. But it's just, like I said, putting it away, not locking up in a suitcase for one game and not worrying about it. I think that's the biggest change I've made.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Stace.
I look at my sheet and I'm like, all these question marks. God, what do you ask Carrie? What do you ask Carrie? Because nobody, I don't think, understands how much work you actually do unless you've really been closer involved. And I think when you talk about these things and over the years of how you were so worried about that, it's almost like, like it takes a village to raise this product that you've produced. And now I think you have a lot of trust in the people that you have put in charge so that you can finally go to the next level, right? And bring things back onto yourself. So what is, you said you love Heritage. What's your expectations this weekend? Like, obviously winning, that's what, you want to go in there winning, but what's an expectation for you this weekend?
Yeah, so I rely heavily on my history with Heritage. So I've played really well, especially at this tournament. I've had like 5 top 4 finishes and that kind of stuff. I like even though it's synthetics and lots of oil, I like the old school feel of it. You still have original pin bases. They're still 18 inches. It still feels like the old school, like a heavy hit isn't a bad hit there. You pick up your wood, you move on. I find we can even go to the Open. We got to play at Bonnie Doon, probably one of the best scoring houses that's ever been. Where everybody kind of says, "Oh, you can hit anywhere on the middle and score." That's not my mindset when I go there. It's, you still got to throw it in the pocket. And I was extra heavy all Open week, and it showed. I didn't score very well. So maybe those 17 inches or the black bases, maybe that was the difference. I couldn't tell you that. But I just love the way Heritage plays, and I've always loved the way Paradise plays. So kind of the same thing. The old school bases, the old school thought mentality, maybe. Little extra oil on the lane helps me a little bit too. So.
I know, Kerry, you're a very technical bowler. We have lots of bowlers out there that are, feel, Lan and Seth, basically I just bowl by feel, and, Greg Grasky kind of indicated the same thing. How is that, do you find you have to concentrate more because you are technical, or are you technical before you step on the lane?
I try and be more technical before I step on the lane, and then try and relax when I'm actually in my approach and stuff like that. But I do find myself, I concentrate a lot once I'm on the approach. Just making small adjustments and stuff like that. That's kind of one big change I've made this whole season. Is I was lucky enough to get my hands on a set of soft rolls that were 5-inch and a little bit lighter to help with some deflection, because I was notoriously known for blow-throughs or flying aces and stuff like that. The ball is just too heavy going through the pins and stuff like that. So that's one change I've made, is I've only thrown one set of bowling balls pretty much all year. I haven't made changes like I always used to. Like every second game I was bringing on a different bowling ball to try and get something going. So that's the one change I've made, and I don't know if it's helped me on my game or just mentally a switch. I couldn't tell you that. But it's improved my game, so I'm happy with it, and I'm gonna stick with it. And hopefully, I'm not too stubborn. If I realize I do need to make a change, I'll make the change. But I've been definitely trying to do that more often, because let's face it, some of the best players only throw one set of bowling balls, and then they throw in one set of bowling balls their whole lives. So it's maybe not the ball, it's the player, but we'll see.
I think it's whatever each player determines is going to help them. If mentally they need to change the ball and they think that's going to help, then it's helping. Obviously, if they think it's going to help, then it's helping.
A little commitment, maybe, eh, Greg?
Yeah.
stick to something, commit to it. Yeah. That'll
nice.
From a WCBT tour side of things, what are some of the storylines you might be following? Obviously, the last tournament of the year, we do have tour finals. After this, they'll all get calculated. So what are the sort of storylines along the year we're looking at to follow along?
Yeah, for sure. So from the WCBT standpoint, obviously the top 12 is the big thing we're all watching. Greg and Dexter tied at 12th. Greg getting the tie break because he has a higher finish. That's definitely something to watch. There's a lot of players coming that are all kind of in the same boat. They need a good finish to jump into the top 12, and there's some players in the top 12 that might need a few extra points to stay up there. So that's going to be exciting to watch. And then this may be hopefully the season that we get to run the second Gallagher Cup, and so the top 20 is something to watch, right? For people that don't know about the Gallagher Cup, we take the top 20 players off the WCBT points list, split them into teams and do like a Ryder Cup style event the day before tour finals. So that's also something to watch for all the spectators out there and the bowlers alike, right? And then there's the Player of the Year races and. Sorry, Daryl, was that?
Right, winning coaches for the Gallagher Cup, I think, get the automatic bye to be coaching again. I think, right? Greg?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's a good thing about the Gallagher Cup is the people that stay in the top 20. So I guess I'll walk through a little bit of our thought process here. So the top 20 players, if they happen to play in the Gallagher Cup before, they get to go back to their original team. And then we redraft the new players in the top 20 and stuff like that. And I think the coaches have fair rights to come back. If they want to give up their spot, they can give up their spot, but we'd love to have them back. All 4 coaches are huge in the sport and always have been, so we'd love to have you guys back. And Daryl, I know you loved being on the winning side of it, so
we like our team, Kerry.
To have you back there too.
That was some good drafting.
Winning sponsor.
That was some real good
winning
drafting.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just going back to the WCBT stuff, like the Player of the Year races for the guys and the ladies. So there's something to watch there. And there's an extra $500 bonus from Fab 5 and 5 Pin Universe that put in for the female side of the Player of the Year race. I know Bev had a good strong point there that it's not so much rooting against the other female, it's how well you can play by yourself. You never want to root against somebody, but it's a neat aspect that I think the Fab 5 and 5 Pin U have added to this, and we may not get a female in the top 5. I really hope we do. A great finish this weekend would definitely solidify that, but it's nice to give them something back to, that there's something to shoot for, even though maybe you didn't have the season you wanted to, but you're still competing for something there too as well. So I'm happy that that's happening, and I can't wait to present it to whoever it may be.
So, Kerry, it's easy to ask about sort of what you think the future of the WCBT is and what you want to work on next, but I'm actually more interested in thinking about sort of the last couple of years. I know it's been trying at times, but when you look back on especially this year, is there something in particular that comes to mind as something that was a really nice step forward, or a change and improvement, something you've been working on that came to fruition that you're particularly proud of?
Aside from the 5 Pin Universe stuff, I don't know if there's anything I did that made the tour or the sport that much better outside of that business opportunity that we started. But I think it comes to all the competitors and all the players. Look at the outstanding participation levels at these tournaments after COVID, or kind of when COVID was still kind of a thing. You had the Autumn Open have outstanding numbers, TPC have outstanding numbers, Regina have ridiculous numbers, and now Heritage set to maybe make a WCBT record with the amount of participants, right? It as much as we do on the media side and this 5 Pin U stuff, without the players, none of it's a thing, right? So it's amazing that they've participated at the levels they did, and that gives some hope to the sport and to the tour for sure. And even with Winnipeg, look at Winnipeg's tournament. Started up out of nowhere, got postponed because of COVID, obviously. They got a slower start than they were hoping to, and it had really good numbers for a tournament that's in Winnipeg in the middle of winter. People are willing to travel out there and play. It was fantastic. I love seeing that stuff, and I really hope at the AGM this year that Winnipeg does a strong showing to get the vote and get into the tour. I think they deserve a spot, and Manitoba's been a huge supporter of the tour for how many years. I think they deserve their tournament.
Yeah, I gotta think it's really gratifying to see that it wasn't just a spike because everybody was eager to get back to the first tournament where they thought they could go, but that you've been able to sustain it for several events now, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down.
No, and I hope it doesn't.
So keep it on, Larry. What happens when the entry fee or entry, not the fees, when the entries are around like, 350, 400? What are we going to do with 16 lane centers that primarily that's what these events are held in? Are we going to run a week long WCBT event?
That's a great question. That's beyond my pay grade. I have no idea what ideas we can come up with, or proprietors helping out with these tournaments and all this stuff. What ideas we can come out with. Obviously, we can always look back to the past where KG had a 48 cut and stuff like that. We can go deeper cuts, or we can raise entry fees to raise prize money and maybe reduce the amount of entries, but keep the prize money still reasonable. I don't really know what the right answer is, and I think that's going to have to be a big decision across multiple groups. And I would hate to make a guess as to what the solution is. There's lots of opinions out there, so if you're around on the weekend, ask a few people. You'll get a different opinion from everybody. So.
It's a really good question. We talk about it quite often with being 16 lane centers, because a lot of centers aren't massive anymore, right? So when we talk about, like, I know here has been 2 centers. Can you run things at 2 centers, right?
Yeah, just for parity, I think that would be really tough unless you run like your shift is 5 games at one center, 5 games at the other center to keep parity a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be fun. That would be a great solution. a great solution to an entry level number for sure.
Yeah, you could have top 16 at one center, top 16 at the other center.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People should submit all their thoughts to all these associations, and let's come up with an idea.
Agreed.
I know there was a lot of talk this week, in the last couple of weeks, in regards to the 30-second spot as far as consolation event, and I know, again, I have an opinion, but I mean, basically, I think this whole 30-second spot, 31 qualifying, 30-second spot getting back in the tournament, I think that was adopted when we were getting 120 and 140 entries at these events, and we weren't looking to take any money out of the payout to pay into a consolation event. And I totally understand that. It totally makes sense that, you want to have the opportunity for the bowlers and the money to go to the players that are played the best. But when we're getting potentially 300 entries, there is money to be able to be put aside for just a consolation, to give people, from whatever spot, 33rd to 64th, whatever the number is, to recoup some of their money back. Because, I mean, again, we got people playing 3-4 shifts, and I mean, at $200 a shift, that's a significant amount of money they're putting out. So
yeah, I kind of want to build on that, Greg, since we have a little bit of time here. Obviously, you've played a lot of these events for a lot longer than I have and stuff like that. The mindset in the past, were there a lot of people that, maybe this is an unfair question, was there a lot of extra shifts that you could enter? Was the idea that, you 1 shift or 2 shift, that's it? If you shift more than that, you're kind of a fool out there? Or were the players going out there like, I play all the shifts, whatever it needs to be to make the cut. I'm here to play for the cut. I'm not here just to take a chance and, okay, it's time to go home.
Right. Well, I think there used to be, again, $200 28, 30 years ago was quite a bit of money to put out to play a shift in comparison to where we're at now. It'd be, probably close to like a $300 a shift in comparison to what it was then. And again, everybody was different. Some people, again, they come for the full, I'm going and I'm going to do whatever I can to try and qualify. And other people are like, you know what, I want to support the tournament, support the event. I think I got 1 shift in me, and if I play well, great. If I don't play well, that's all I'm going to do.
Right.
So, I mean, again, we had, back in the 80s, there we had people playing, 3 shifts because we never had any. I don't believe were any more than 3 shifts. So there were the odd person who would play 3 shifts. So
Right.
now that we're getting up to 4 and 5 shifts. But again, I mean, I think this the exposure to the game where we're at, and compared to where it was when we did it, I mean, it was basically, you put out that money and nobody really knew anything about it. Everyone just did it for themselves. Where what you have done and your group has done, I mean, it's just a whole, I don't know, it's just a whole different feel to the event. I mean, I think it makes people want to try harder, and I mean, they want to make that tour championship if they can, and they want to get into these guys because I mean, this is the money coming back now with this many entries. If you do qualify, you're going to get enough back that if you play 2 shifts, you're going to break even.
Yeah.
Or with pots and stuff. So it's easy to justify playing a second shift because if I do qualify, I'm worst part, I'm going to break even.
Right. Yeah.
Carrie, can you chat a bit about 5-Pin Universe, maybe the live streaming, maybe the commentary, some of that sort of action where people can find all of the live streams and stuff like that, what that's going to look like this weekend?
You bet. So I'll bring light a little bit before I talk about all that is JB's hard work on the WCBT stats. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of the website. I was trying to think it here as Greg was going through his process. JB, if you enlighten us on the website domain that you picked out.
Yeah, so trying to follow in the footsteps of Baseball Reference and Hockey Reference and Football Reference, if you now go to bowling-reference.com, you'll find the very beginnings of the ultimate database of performance information for now the WCBT and maybe eventually the world.
That'd be awesome. It's kind of neat. You can go on there. You can see strike percentages, middle hit percentages, spare percentage, all that stuff. So I know it's at the very beginning. We only got 2 events on there so far. Data crunching has been a feat in its own for, I'm sure,
Yep.
JB's. If people follow JB on Facebook, they understand the process that he's gone through. And even though we'll never fully understand what he actually went through, we at least get to follow along a little bit.
Yeah, I've spent more hours writing software in the last 4 months than I did in probably the previous 10 years, and all volunteer work. I have to say I haven't felt as much energy to want to write code as I have in the past 4 months for at least 10 years. So it found me at the right time, and I'm glad it could help.
We appreciate it, and we can't wait till we
Yes.
get home. Big fist bump. So then, as for the Heritage Traditional, so 5-Pin Universe will be obviously doing the live streaming for the WCBT. We have a close relationship. So the main feed will be on WCBT's Facebook page and their YouTube page. And we'll have a secondary 5-Pin Universe. We'll be running a non-commentary live stream just on our own YouTube. But we're going to have commentary just like the Alberta Open had, but that'll be specifically on the WCBT stuff. Hopefully you'll hear our voices there and many more people. Also, we're going to have merchandise. WCBT merchandise will be available there. 5-Pin Universe merchandise will be available there. We got the Chopped Cherry shirt. I'm proud to be one of the first buyers of it, and it showed up at the Autumn Open, or at the Alberta Open for me for my $3.98 Chopped Cherry. The rest were strikes, so thank God for that.
Sounds like we're going to have a lot of them this weekend at Heritage too. So
oh yeah. If we don't at Heritage, there's something wrong. So we have lots of stuff going on, and then of course Shelby and Mike and all their hospitality at Heritage is unmatched. Facility for it, and they do such a great job. I can't wait to get down there tomorrow morning and have some of their great food and watch all the fantastic bowling this whole week.
Well, good stuff. Let's get everybody's round the horn, our cut predictions. and we'll wrap this show up. We already know that I'm at 2077, and you're all going to make fun of me all week, so it's fine. We'll deal with it. Maybe add 100, but I'll stick with the 2077. It's not going to happen.
Harry, what's yours?
Oh man, hearing everybody's it scares me a little bit. Yeah, there's a sheer amount of players, so it's obviously going to push it up a little bit, but that's pretty high. That Heritage, I hope Heritage is going to play a little bit tougher. That's kind of my wheelhouse. So I'm going to shoot 2150. 2150.
I know where JB and I go on these from our previous podcast, and they did laugh at us last time because we were so high, but we were right.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you put this many talented people into it, it doesn't matter what the lane conditions are to me. I'm going to go 2212.
2200. We're going over.
I wasn't ready.
I got to throw in. Rich just wrote a note saying he thinks it's going to be Kevin's birth year, Kevin Holdsworth's birth year of 1924.
Oh, Kevin's listening.
It's funny. I wasn't willing to go way up there, but I actually had listening to other people and sort of keeping in mind, again, just so many entries, so many people. And I kind of settled on 2192.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I bowl in that center every week. So, and again, I just think that if you're going to get close to the cut line and you need a 260 that last game, it's going to be tough. So I'm going to say 21-28.
Ooh, yeah. There you go. That's my kind of number, Greg.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the grinders. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Well, good. We all got our picks out there. If anybody's in the comment sections, you maybe got about a minute left to put your prediction for what the cut is going to be. But yeah, any final thoughts from you guys? Obviously, listening and learning from some of the players here we chatted with, or anybody else you want to put a shout out to that you know is coming to the tournament, or that you just overall like to see play well. Start with you, Stacey.
Well, obviously, I'm obligated, but not really, to say Marcello and Michaela and Rich, because we all live in this household, and this is the first time Marcello and Michaela are playing there. I guess I should shout out to Adam too, because he's the family too. But those guys. But I'm really looking forward to seeing the women come out this weekend. I think that there's a lot of women out that are ready to play. It sounds like Heritage is more of a fair house to have women playing versus men. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to maybe some commentary and just sitting back and watching, because I'm not playing myself. But yeah, it'll be a good weekend.
Well, again, I bowl in that center, and I've been bowling it all year, and I think it's tougher than it is. It's going to be really good to see the best players come out and play in that center. I just think that it's an opinion that just from the Gary Bairds and the Shelbys and that, and Justin all playing really well, and that it'll be interesting to see these really strong players come out and show their stuff in what is we'd like to think is a fair center, not necessarily tough, but a fair center. So yeah, I'm excited about seeing it all weekend.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in particular that I wanted to highlight. It's having been away for so long and having had my plans completely destroyed for coming out there 2 years ago, then last year, then this year. It's just renewing my interest and desire to get out there. I'm going to be doing 2 tournaments in Ontario this summer. I might even be able to get back out to the Newfoundland Bowling Tour in September. We'll see what happens, but this even more, makes me long for the day I can finally get out there and join you folks. I'm really looking forward to that.
Good stuff.
I think the one guy that has never been out there but has been a strong support for the tour is Jeff Watts. I can't wait to see him come out and play Heritage. And a non-WCBT member, this may be a sin saying it on the WCBT press conference, but Sylvain Bercier. Unreal season, probably points leader across the board if he was actually a member. I know he had some work stuff that he didn't know if he was going to be able to play all the events, but has been making all the events and has been playing unreal. So I can't wait to see him play this weekend. He's going to be obviously one of the best out there, so he's going to be tough to beat.
And you know, and I'm looking forward to having a ton of conversations with people that are going to be involved with the Pro League. You know, I've got my notebook coming, lots of questions. I know people will be asking all kinds of them themselves. What does expansion look like? Obviously, success for this year's season. You know, all these types of things, the format, price, you know, all these things. So I'm looking forward to having lots of great conversations. What the scheduling might look like. What does the proprietor look like? What do all these things look like, right? There's a lot of potential, and with, you know, 27 potential teams, if there's going to be more or less, we don't know, but it's exciting that where bowling's at. I've never personally played the main event at Heritage. I've done the shootout, but never the main event. Just never really worked for timing, but I'm excited to come out and play and be involved in it. I've always had good experience at Heritage. 20 years ago, our open team won the provincials there with a really solid record going off to nationals. So it's exciting. It's exciting for the tournament, exciting for the tour, exciting for everybody involved in bowling to have another big cash tournament on its horizon coming up. So I think with that, everybody, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to all the guests. Thanks for everybody listening. And thanks to you, our media panel, and Carrie in the background for helping run the show. Fist bumps.
Yep.
Take care, everybody. Safe travels and best of luck to you this weekend. And we'll chat with you all soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck.
Thanks, everyone.
Here, folks. Have fun.